Hello, noobs. This is Artzygrrl. I am here with a special guest. Our guest today is Dirk Tabaris. So, welcome, Dirk. Thank you first of all, for coming to answer some of my questions.
You're welcome.
So, you are one of the last two surviving Grey Wardens of Ferelden, right?
Yes.
And you're making your way across Ferelden, trying to muster support to crush the Blight.
Yes, that is right. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so if you're wondering why you're here, just think of me as a like a minstrel, okay? We're sitting down at a pub talking together about your adventures and getting insight into your mind and your work as a Grey Warden for the general purpose of, spreading your fame and hopefully garnering some additional support and sympathy for you and your cause, or, causes, as the case may be.
Wait, you're making a song about this. Do I get to hear the song?
Well, not really a song. It's more like I'm going to use your answers to, make this something really interesting, and it'll hopefully help you and Morgan and your whole cause.
Oh, all right. Now I wanted a song. Fine. Thank you for your support.
I'm not that much of a songwriter, honestly, so.
One thing though, I mean, I'll try to be honest in this interview. If I say something that you think might not come across well, please cut it out.
As your token minstrel, Dirk, I have to tell you, we tend to gloss over bits and make you into legends and heroes. It's just sort of how we are.
Excellent. That's exactly what I was hoping. Perfect.
We like to make you relatably human, or relatably, maybe not human is the word, but relatable maybe is the better word. So that humans can relate to you, so that other elves can relate to you, so that other creatures that aren't human or elves can relate to you. Just it makes you more accessible. But it doesn't mean we have to paint you in a bad light. We'll still paint you in a good light.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about, what do you think of your quest so far to defeat the Blight? Do you feel like you've been, successful so far? Obviously not in defeating the Blight, but in gathering support to do so.
There's been some progress. Not where I want to be, but some progress has been made. Well, I've got the mages and the Templars, that's something. This Urn of Sacred Ashes things works out. I should have Al-Eamon, who apparently, from what I can tell, he does have a good measure of influence. So that's something. If it works out, of course. That's still a little bit up in the air, but getting places. I think getting places.
Good. Following up on that, and actually leading right into what you were just talking about, how do you feel about your quest to find the Urn of Sacred Ashes? Okay, that's currently what you're kind of doing right now. And what do you think will happen if you should happen to, best case scenario, find it unspoiled and get the ashes to Al-Eamon? What do you think is going to happen there?
Oh, best case scenario. Well, the hope is that it heals him, and there are several people who have studied it a lot who think it will heal him. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like that is sort of a lot to ask. I don't see why there's any particular reason that ashes would heal anybody.
Unless they're from Andraste.
Well, I mean, it would be up to the maker, right?
I agree. Yeah, that's kind of a... Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. I get it. Okay, if there's some reason why it does have a positive effect, like if you see what obviously is like, you take the ashes to him, he is miraculously healed. I mean, you've not been a particularly religious person that I've seen. Not that you're, blasphemous. You're certainly not, but. How is that going to affect your faith? Like, how would you feel about that? How would that maybe change your perspective on not just the urn, but maybe on Andraste or the Maker or everything that's happening?
But, it's not that. I mean, I'm not a heretic. I do believe in the Maker most days, and Andraste definitely existed. it's just right now, I sometimes wonder if the Chantry isn't guilty of a bit of wishful thinking there, with her elevated to a higher plane where she watches over us, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose if the ashes do heal the Arl, I'll have to think about that. And then, well, some days I wonder if the Chantry isn't guilty of slander. I mean, the way they teach that the Maker just picked up his toys and went home. I mean, really? and the way they reject Malefica like Morrigan without even a hearing. Are they really speaking for the Maker or Andraste there? But, still, I mean, I do think that if everyone did follow the Chantry's teaching, I mean, really follow it, the world would be a better place.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found a better system. I mean, Morrigan believes something different, and it's cold and ruthless, and whenever I hear her talk about it, I just want to wrap my arms around her and show her a better way. And Sten, he believes something different with the Cune, but that's cold too, and hard. He honestly believed that if he tried to go home without his sword, they'd kill him on sight without waiting for an explanation.
They would.
But that's no way to live. At least the Chantry has some concept of love and mercy. I guess on the whole, I'm more Andrastian than anything else.
Okay, that's a very satisfactory answer. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Dirk. Okay.
Again, that is something you might think about how you show that in any songs that you make about me.
Oh, Dirk, he was sort of Andrastian. Yes,
Well, I've been working very hard to stay on the Chantry's good side.
Oh, well,
Let's not blow that.
I won't do anything that paints you in a bad light, and I certainly won't endanger you with the Chantry. That's not what I'm here for. This is in support of you and your cause. So, okay, moving on. What do you think of your companions? Okay, let's start here. And you can be, as specific or vague as you want. What do you think of Rathbone?
Right? Oh, Rathbone is the best. I love him.
He's a good boy.
I would not change a single thing about Rathbone. I'm just so glad he's here.
Yes, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. I agree. Okay, what about Liliana?
Liliana. Oh, that's trickier. She's still not being open with me. I've got her to admit that she was once a spy, basically. But she is still holding back.
If she was once a spy, that seems pretty
right.
For the course.
It's to be expected. I don't tell everybody everything, but there's always that there. I'm never quite sure about her, what she's thinking, and then, well, you've heard her, it's happened more than once now. I kiss Morrigan in front of her, and she seems to be all encouraging. But I've heard her talking to Alistair behind my back, and she hates Morrigan. She thinks she is a vile fiend, I believe was the term she used. So it's how do I trust what she says to me? I don't know. So,
yes.
I think she's mostly sincere. There's just always that little doubt there,
Yes, I can see that. Okay, what about Sten?
Sten? Oh, well, he's Sten. I don't feel I fully understand him either, but at least he's not. I mean, at least he's point blank not telling me things. He's not telling me lies. He's just not telling me things. I admire him, though. I do admire him. He's a great warrior. He knows what he thinks. He's very brave.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think really, basically, a good person. I mean, he did go nuts that one time. Oh, killing children, but he knows it was wrong. Like he says, he just went a little crazy for a while, which does worry one a bit. I mean, he went crazy once, but no, for the most part, I like him. It's I can't really help trusting him somehow. He just seems so solid.
Yes, it's very straightforward.
Yes, exactly.
He might come punch you in the face, but he'll tell you he's going to do it before he does it.
Right. Yes, I think he would.
Okay, what about Severin?
Oh, Zephyr. He told me he was going to teach me his assassin skills. He said, and I quote, he would make it fun. You know what he taught me? Nothing. He's taught me nothing. Very irritated with him about that. But in general, honestly, I don't know what to expect from him. Seem to be revealing that I don't trust any of my friends. Well, basically, I accepted his offer of service, mostly because I wanted to rub it in Logain's face, I'll be honest about that.
Understandable.
But it seems like the whole time he's around, I feel like I have to watch my back because I'm really not sure if he might decide to fulfill his commission after all and just go home.
Yes.
I don't think he will. I think we're reasonably good friends. I think he likes me.
He seems to like everyone, sure. Right up until he tries to kill them, though. Is it really liking you, you know?
And you know what? I don't think it's entirely insincere. I think he could, in his mind, like someone
and then kill them. You're probably right.
While still liking them.
I can see why that might make someone feel a little bit uneasy.
But then, I do feel bad for him. I mean, he had a terrible childhood. He's acting the way he was trained to act. And
true.
Well, I mean, he's a fellow elf. I feel like we ought to try to help each other. So, anyway.
Okay, those are great insights. Okay, how do you feel about Wynne?
Wynne. Oh, well, really won't have to me about Wynne once. I like her. I feel very... she reminds me of home a lot, honestly. The sort of feel of the alienage when I grew up. I trust her. Of all the people we've talked about, she's the first one I really trust. I believe she is perfectly honest and knows what she believes and is very sincere about it. And bless her, ever since she called Logain a bastard, I just really liked her. Of course, there's she does get a little preachy sometimes.
Yes, like any good grandmother.
It's to be expected. Yes, she is very much like a grandmother.
But I would say that Wynne, tell me if this is accurate. I would say Wynne's views on the world and on people and on the morals and virtues of the chantry or preached by the chantry, this may be the closest to your own out of most anybody in your group, right?
Maybe.
As far as how you treat others, that sort of thing.
I think I would bend rules more than she would. Obviously, there are things that she asks me, and I think of an answer that would be the true answer, and I just can't quite say it to her face, so I give her the better answer.
As one would do with their grandmother.
The answer she would like better.
Yep, that's exactly how someone would talk to their grandmother, I think.
Right. Well, and then she and Morgan don't get along at all, so
that's coming up later in the interview as well. Yes, we will discuss that as well. Okay, how about Alistair?
Alistair, he's such an idiot. I do like him. I like him, but he's such a man-child, and
little dopey.
He's not. I don't know if that makes me like him better or worse, but he's not stupid. He pretends to be, and he's in the habit of pretending to be. It's reflexive by now. I think he's just trying to be... what's the word?
Non-threatening?
Non-threatening, thank you. Yes, he's trying to be non-threatening, and I can see why. I mean, the whole him being the son of the king and that hanging over him, people thinking maybe he'd try to claim the throne someday or something. He's just trying to make people think he's nothing to worry about.
Like a dog that immediately rolls over onto its back when it sees you. Hello, right, I'm not threatening. I will not bite you.
Ridiculous. I mean, he's a warrior. He's this incredibly powerful warrior. Honestly, I sometimes forget myself how great a warrior he is when he starts talking. Which I suppose means he's successful in what he's trying to do, but I don't know. It's a little hard to respect him that way, but he's not stupid. You
think that
he is loyal? is a good friend that way.
Do you think that, like Zevran, he's basically acting the way he's been told to act? Make sure that nobody
yes,
thinks you're a threat to King Kalen, and you won't be in danger. Make sure that nobody thinks you're going to take Arl Eamon's rule, or that you're actually his bastard son. And if you don't act threatening, no one will think of you as threatening, and you'll stay alive.
Well, maybe. I don't think anybody told him to act like a child, but that's what he got out of it, I suppose.
Well, he lost his mother when he was a child.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Okay.
Anyway.
Lastly,
he is funny. I'll give him that. He does lighten the mood sometimes.
He does try to be very entertaining. He's like a jester in his own way. What do you think about Morgan? What don't you think about Morgan?
What do I think about Morgan? I really wish I could tell her how much I love her. Mostly. She wouldn't understand, is the thing. It's like she has an idea in her head of what love means, and it's not the same thing I mean, but I keep trying to find ways to show her, and it's I don't know if I'm ever getting through. Yes. She's amazing. I love her. I love the courage in her, and I love the way she is herself. She is recklessly herself in spite of anything anybody else wants her to be. And I know Alistair doesn't think she's a good person. Wynne doesn't think she's a good person. Nobody seems to think she's a good person, and yet I do. I really do. It's almost like she's fighting it sometimes, but it's there. I see it. And I hate her mother. Really hate her mother for what she did to her when she was younger.
Well, I feel like that's enough probing questions about Morgan.
Oh, you...
I did. I did.
Did you? That... Alright, in my defense, she set that up. What did she expect? Was I supposed to just let that pass? I mean, that would have been a crime, just not to say it when she set that up.
Maybe she did it for her own amusement, like I did right just then. Okay, so speaking of Morgan,
yes.
Thank you for sharing all of that about your companions. It was really, really interesting. I'd like to ask you about Wynne and Morgan. You did mention that earlier. Like, there's some tension there, some conversations you had between them. Can you tell us more about that? From what I understand, Wynne said something about Morgan being a cunning woman, and that term is actually used of witches. I mean, it's a general term used about witches sometimes, but just in general, what are your thoughts about that situation? How are you planning to deal with it?
Well, I will say, first of all, I do appreciate Wynne actually said that to my face. I did private. Yep. Thank you, Alistair. But, it's not that I haven't thought about it. Wynne thinks that I'm blinded by Morgan's beauty. And, I mean, if I was, how would I know, right? But, Artzy, I'm good at reading people. I always have been, and I don't see Morgan as cunning. Now, Flemeth is cunning. Zevran is cunning. Liliana, very cunning. And I wonder sometimes if Wynne sees that. I don't think she does. Morgan, she's intelligent, she's ruthless. She's brutally forthright. And she hasn't even tried to make me think she cares about me. I mean, she's told me again and again she doesn't believe in love. I mean, to the point where she's protesting too much, and that gives me hope.
Yes.
I suppose if there was any cunning, that would be it, the reverse psychology. But I don't think so. I mean, if she only wanted to manipulate me, then why not pretend to feel for me? And I think she either wants to be honest with me, or she's trying to fool herself.
Or both.
And I know she does that. Well, I mean, she tries so hard to believe that Flemeth had her best interests at heart. When she was using her as bait and smashing her dearest treasure. Anyway, what does Wynne think Morgan is after? I mean, if she's working for Flemeth, well, Flemeth has lived in the wilds for ages, not doing much of anything. I mean, if she has a master plan, I can't imagine what it would be. Morgan, the one thing she's told me she wants is to travel and see places. There's no need for cunning there. I want to travel too. I'm happy to do it with her. What does she want beside that? Survival. Well and good. Again, I'm with her there. Fine with me. She's starving for affection, but she doesn't know it. Power, maybe? I mean, she probably wants power, but so do I. Does Wynne know that? Has it occurred to her that I am cunning? I doubt it. Anyway, say Morgan and I are both after power. Well, the best plan for both of us is to help each other. I mean, we're an ideal team. I could never rival her in magic, but her magic can help me. And I seriously doubt she can ever rival me in influence, but my influence can help her. She has no reason to betray me, even if she had the heart to do it, and I don't think she does. I don't think she would willfully harm someone who had been a good ally to her.
A good ally.
Not unless the benefit
That's
was
something
very
she
high
would say.
And no one else would do
That's
instead.
something she would say. But she would not say a lot of other things that she felt because she was trying to convince herself that she's not feeling them. I'm pretty sure that's happening.
Anyway, I mean, like I'm saying, the benefit would have to be very high, and I can't imagine what those circumstances would be. I mean, well, even if she needed a Grey Warden's blood in particular for some kind of horrible sacrifice, there's always Alistair.
And she'd happily sacrifice him.
Exactly. I mean, not that I'd be happy with that. I'm just saying.
If she had to choose between him and you,
she
wouldn't.
Pick me first.
Yes, I can see that.
Right. I would object. Just put that out there. I would not stand by. But
but you might not stop her either.
Anyway, what I'm going to do about it, I guess I'm going to ignore Wynne about that. I think she's wrong.
Okay. That's fair enough. All right. Let's see. I have quite a few more questions here.
Sort of went on.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was really interesting. Great insight into how you're feeling about everything, and I think you're definitely right about Morgan and how she feels. Yes,
really?
I think so. I mean, you're very perceptive, as you said, and that does afford you some level of insight that others who might have a more simplistic view of the world might miss, in my opinion, anyway.
Thank you. I don't think Wynne is simplistic, but she's
I think the way she views the world is simplistic, even if she doesn't. Even if she doesn't want to admit it. Now there are some complexities.
She is very prejudiced.
Yes, there are some complexities to her existence. Okay, so Dirk, there was an earlier conversation I observed. You didn't hear me, but I observed regarding Zevran, and it was right after you had kind of a slightly uncomfortable conversation with him, and he seemed to imply some things, and you weren't terribly interested, which, you know, is fine. You don't have to like everyone the same, but
thank you.
You basically told Ruli that you'd rather have your kneecaps broken than romance Zevran, which honestly made me laugh. But just out of curiosity, okay, if we're rating ability or desire on your part to romance them, I'd like to hear your numbers regarding all your companions. Obviously, Morgan is going to be at the top, so she doesn't need to be rated. But let's say she's unavailable and you have to romance one of your other companions. No, you have to answer this one. This is the best question. Right. Let's use a scale where 10 is you could marry this person and be happy for the rest of your life, just loving on them. And 1 is you'd rather have your kneecaps broken. We already know you don't care for Zevran, which is understandable considering you value loyalty highly, and Zevran appears to have no lasting loyalty, right? But I'm curious to find out where your other companions fall on this scale. And honestly, this is just purely for my own amusement. So you absolutely have to answer because it's
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'd like to know.
Right. And because Ruli found this confusing, Rothbone is not on that list.
Animals
right?
are not on the list. People only.
Right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, on the scale.
Let's just go through our list from earlier. Let's start with Leliana. 1 is broken kneecaps. 10 is married happily.
It's a little. See, the way I feel about her now, as opposed to the way I might have felt about her if I hadn't met Morgan first. I don't know. You've got to remember, I had come within hours of my wedding night, and then that did not happen, and so if I hadn't met Morgan and then had met Leliana, possibly, I don't.
All right, so give me a number.
That's
not bad, okay. Sten.
She is pretty. I think. You know what? I'm really not sure how old she is.
Yeah.
I look at her.
With redheads, it's always hard to tell.
Sten is down with the 2 broken kneecaps, though. As I said, if forced to it, I would take him over
okay,
Zevran,
so Sten might be like a 1 and Zevran's a 0.
Right. That, if I had my kneecaps broken and then healed and then broken again, that would be Zevran.
Delightful. Okay, Win.
No.
Okay, moving on. Yeah, we know. Grandma.
Right,
let's
imagine that I had met her when she was young, like my age. I suppose I could have done that for Leliana too, but alright, if she was my age, then probably more like I don't know. She is sort of. I think she was pretty at the time. I bet she was. Probably around as 7 or 8ish. Okay, I'm done thinking about this. Done. No.
Alistair?
Oh, what's 1 broken kneecap?
What's 1 broken kneecap? 1.5. That's funny. Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you for that. Great. Okay, so moving on. Who would you say is the most interesting person you've met on your travels? Interesting in a positive way, obviously excluding your companions.
Morgan?
Excluding your companions. Who is the most interesting person?
Well, if it's a positive way, that rules out Flemeth, I suppose. Interesting person. Duncan was interesting. Little mixed feelings about him, but alright, he's dead. I suppose I can probably forgive him at this point, so we'll say Duncan.
Yeah, and you think about it, Duncan was trying to save the entire world, so,
He should have warned people. No, I'd rather not think about it because there's
it's terrible. I know. The whole business is terrible.
It was wrong.
Okay, so following up that, who is the worst person you've met that's not Logain? I already know you don't like Logain.
Oh, I had an easy answer there. Actually, well, I haven't met him except by reputation, but apparently Howe.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. I mean, Flemeth also pretty terrible. They're up there.
At least she. I don't know of anything really terrible she did except
destroy Morgan's entire life. Yep.
Really terrible. Yes, emotionally destroy Morgan.
Yeah. Rendon Howe is pretty.
He's the one who.
Pretty awful.
He sent people to kill me. He set a death trap for anyone loyal to me. Not to mention what he did to the alienage, which I haven't even found out the full effects of that yet. I would pick Howe.
And
which I suppose I should pick the Archdemon.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't count it as a person. Okay, speaking of Logain, since we just tangentially touched on him, I would like to hear briefly what your plan is to deal with him. How does that fit in with your plan to end the Blight?
I want to destroy him. As far... If I'm being calm and tactical, the best thing to do is garner support and steal his allies away from him. Steal his army away from him. Take it all away, leave him with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I suppose at that point you ought to kill him, but it seems a little... I sort of want to rub it in a bit, you know? It's not what they taught me in the chantry, by the way, and one of those things I would not tell to Win if she asked me. But... oh, it's just... I want him to know that I defeated him. I want him to look in the eyes of the people all around him and see that they hate and despise him.
Okay. Good answer. What would you say is the optimal result of everything, this ordeal that Ruli's guiding you through? What would you say would be the optimum result that you could choose from your perspective right now? Mm-hmm.
Optimal.
Be as specific or vague as you like.
Well, ending the blight, of course, with as few deaths as possible. No deaths would be ideal. I honestly don't expect that. It's not been the way things are going. But ending it, definitely. Destroying low game, that's part of it. And then, well, it's all about Morgan after that, isn't it? Because I'm working on that. It really tells me I'm making progress, and that Morgan does like me more than she lets on. But I have to get her to the point of agreeing that she actually wants to marry me, or at least, I don't know, and maybe is there a way to basically have marriage without the other person realizing that's what it is?
I mean, yes and no. As long as there is mutually agreed upon a relational tenure, I guess is maybe a way to say it.
Well, honestly, I mean, I would prefer actual marriage because my family and everything
of course
are much happier with that. And frankly,
marriage.
Morgan keeps her word. If she actually gave a vow, I think she would keep it.
I think so too.
Feel a little sure of it that way.
But, in her mind, better not to give a vow than to give one she could not keep, or that she might someday not be able to keep.
Exactly.
Yep, right. Understand it.
That's true. Anyway, and of course I'm going to have to work on everybody else to accept her. But yes, I think once the blight is over, I mean, my position in society will be basically set. Can probably almost name my personality as a Grey Warden. I'm not supposed to think that way, but frankly, if I end a blight, I feel like they owe me a retirement.
Well, and you're not just a member of the Grey Wardens, right? You are the last. You and Alistair are the last of the Ferelden Grey Wardens. You're it. So, I mean, yeah.
Anyway, so I'd like to actually maybe try to enjoy life a little bit. Me and Morgan. She wants to travel. We haven't seen an ocean yet. We've seen some mountains.
There's plenty of Thedas to see. Mm-hmm.
Right. Maybe I could work that. Maybe that, I could call it.
And it could be your honeymoon. Tell your family you're on your honeymoon. You had a private wedding ceremony.
Right.
So private, you didn't even exchange vows. Morgan wasn't invited.
Well, and right. Well, I would like it as legitimate as possible. I mean, I've worked so hard to get the approval of the chantry. It's like they owe me this. I feel like they owe me this. Anyway, we'll have to figure that out as it happens. I feel like I will probably have to make a number of decisions based on what happens next.
Agreed. Okay, so just generally, I'd like to know maybe how you feel about humans, okay? Well, specifically, I mean, how they treat you, how they think of elves. Is there anything that you'd like to change about that culture? Maybe what's one change you would make to the way that elves or non-humans and humans interact?
Well, I personally would like to end the alienage system that keeps elves and humans separate. And that is actually not a popular opinion with elves. Most of my elf friends think we need to stick together for strength. And that's not wrong, but I don't see any progress happening this way. The progress I find is when I get out and start getting to know different humans and letting them get to know me. And on the other side, when Duncan came into the alienage and just acted normal, that made an impression on me. And of course, if I do succeed in everything I'm planning, then that should make a difference, yes? If humans see elves and humans working together to end the blight, led by an elf no less, one who discovered the urn of the sacred ashes, and if the elves see humans accepting me as a leader and a hero even, maybe, well, that's got to be a step in the right direction.
Okay, so I'd like to ask about, you seem to acquire and, shall we say, go through different sets of armor and weapons, and as you become more skilled and more strong, you seem to be able to wield better weapons and wear better armor, and so you acquire better materials and all that. So anyway, so you've probably used a number of different sets in your journeys, just finding things, and so I guess I'd like to know, what are you using right now? Can we see them?
Yes, absolutely. I am right now wearing drakeskin armor that was made for me by Wade of Wade's Emporium in Denham. I'll give him a shout out. Excellent armor. He was actually a little disappointed with it because apparently there was a blotch in the staining at some point. I couldn't find it again. He showed it to me. I can't find it now. Anyway, I think it looks awesome, and it's very fire resistant and much better than what I had
Lovely.
before.
Okay.
I'll say
okay,
that.
so just a second. Actually, I asked Ruli about this, and she sent me a picture. Okay, so let's look at your old armor that you had before.
Oh, no. After I had been so bright, the things I said to Zevran about his armor, that I ended up in practically the same. It was awful. Hated it. I suppose it was...
Well, it sort of seems like the main difference between your previous armor and your current armor is that your previous armor had a skirt.
Yes.
But your legs were bare. Yes. Okay. And in your new one, you have some great looking, like, sturdy leggings underneath that. That looks, and your arms are well protected. Or your arms are exposed on the other one? Yes, they are. Yes, so your arms and legs are covered, which seems much more protective.
I tell you what, I walked into that ruined temple, with Brother Genitivi, and he starts talking about traps that send spikes up your arse, and that was the armor I was wearing at the time.
Nobody wants to be wearing a skirt.
That was a terrible thought.
Nobody wants to fall on a spike while wearing a skirt. I'm with you with that. I'm with you.
Nothing. Oh, yes. So, very glad to be in my new armor.
Okay, yes. And what weaponry are you using at the moment?
Oh, well, I like a sword and a dagger. One for each hand is how I like it. I've been getting them enchanted.
Oh, lovely.
So I have a little fire damage with one, a little lightning damage with
very
the
nice.
other. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, well that's great. You're looking good, and of course we're always glad to see that heroes are well protected. We want them to live. Speaking of, yes. Am I understanding this is Drake? You said it was drakeskin armor? Okay, the skin of a drake. You actually had to kill some drakes, is it?
Well, that was back in the skins that this armor came from was back in the Circle Tower. Remember that? We were going through the Circle Tower fighting abominations.
And there were some random drakes.
Evil mages and some random dragons, and nobody could explain to me why there were dragons there. I mean, why? But yes, that's what I...
So it seems like you kind of had a tough time with those drakes.
Oh, yeah. The ones in the Circle Tower, they were apparently smaller sort of drakes. So now we've just recently, in this ruined temple on the way to the ashes, have found some larger drakes.
Oh my.
Yes, they have this, they just rush you and leap on top of you, and then they start clawing and biting, and there's your friends hitting it with swords on the side, trying to get them off of you.
It does sound terrible.
We did kill them. And then there's Ruli saying, "Oh, don't kill it! Oh no, please wait, it's a baby." Oh. Anyway, that has been my experience.
Okay.
She likes
Yes.
dragons.
Well, dragons are they're they're not around in
She
our
thinks they're
world.
pretty.
Where we live, we don't have dragons. So we understand
Oh,
what they
well, that would
are, but
explain a lot
we
then.
think they're beautiful, but they don't exist. They're not at all a danger to me or her. So we are free to admire their beauty.
You might change your mind if you had one on top of you.
No doubt, no doubt. What skills would you say you're hoping to acquire as you continue? So, you've got new weapons and new armor, and you're gonna, hopefully continue to improve those as you go along. What skills are you hoping to acquire as you continue on your journey?
Did I mention I had wanted to learn assassin
Yes.
skills?
Okay, yes, that's one of the ones. Okay, good.
Right.
Assassin skills, useful.
Right. Severin. Anyway, I did just pick up on Do List. I'm still working on that, actually. I have got my stealth game. Honestly, I think it might have peaked. I think I was excellent at stealth as anyone in all of Denerim at this point.
It's excellent.
Ferelden, I should say. So, yes, I'm loving that. Let's see. What more to learn? I think I should maybe take my trap making skills up a bit. That might be nice.
What about lock picking? How are you doing with that?
I am doing pretty well with lock picking. I haven't come across a lock I couldn't unpick for a while. Oh no, that's not true. There have been some that just need keys, but I think I'm about as good as can be at this
That's good.
point.
Excellent. Sounds like your skills are well suited to what you're doing as a warden, so that's good.
Well, I don't know if Wynn would agree with you, but
well, Wynn's
yes,
also not a warden, so. Are there any people or people you'd like to meet, or maybe some places that you'd like to visit that you haven't been to yet?
I'd like to see an ocean. I think I said. People. Well, I do need to see if I can get the dwarves on board with our whole mission to defeat the Blight. That would be good. Turns out, though, I think Morgan might not like being underground, so we'll see if she even wants to come on that one. Let's see. Might end up visiting the Dalish. Sounds like we might have some contacts with them as a Grey Warden. That will be interesting. Really not sure what I expect there. Anything else? Oh yes, Queen Honora. Apparently, she has been pushing back a bit against her father. I am curious to meet her. I'd very much like to
she
talk
does
to
sound
her.
very intriguing.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, great. Well, I hope that all of those things work out for you. I'm sure that at some point you'll get a chance to meet Queen Honora, and assuming everything goes right, and assuming you're able to make it to the next part of your journey. And yeah, that's good. Let's hope. Let's hope for that. Yeah, for sure. With Ruli guiding you, I'm sure you'll get there. Okay, so if you could, let's say you and Morgan, you travel the world, you travel all over Thedas, you see everything. You go to the Underfells, you maybe get to Weishaupt, you could go to Ravane. I mean, go visit the Free Marches, go visit Orlais. I mean, where, if you could just go anywhere and settle after you were done traveling, where do you think would be an ideal place to make your home?
Oh well. I mean, I haven't actually seen those other places yet. I might change my mind. Given if any of them are particularly awesome. Honestly, I think it's going to depend a lot upon Morgan and what she can tolerate as far as other people. Right.
So someplace that mages are accepted, maybe, or someplace more isolated.
Possibly. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm perfectly happy surrounded by people, but she seems to always pull back. I mean, like at a camp, for example, her tent is always far off away from the others. I don't know if that's just she's not comfortable. She thinks people don't like her. Maybe we could get over that, or if that's just the way she is and she'd rather have
I imagine living with her mother out in the middle of nowhere all those years. She might find it just takes a great deal of effort to interact with other people in a way that isn't unpleasant or stressful.
Right. And, I mean, we might find, maybe I'll have a nice estate in the middle of a big city and it'll have walls around it, and so she can find her alone space when
Perfect.
she needs to, and I can go meet people when I need to. Maybe that would be ideal.
Good ideas, good thoughts. And hopefully you'll get a chance to figure that out at some point.
Yes.
That's what I hope for you anyway. Okay, well, wonderful. Yeah, I think you did a really great job of articulating everything you were feeling and thinking about everything that's going on right now. I do have one more thing. I have a few portraits and pictures. As a songwriter, I'm kind of rubbish, but as a painter, I'm actually pretty decent. So I painted a few portraits and pictures that I thought maybe you'd like to see.
Right.
So the first one, Dirk, is this picture of you and Rathbone. Here it is.
Oh.
Yes, he's such a good boy.
Oh, I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I just think it's adorable that you love your dog, and I know that really has told you that we have bodies. We're not just spirits, right? We have a form in our own world. And
right.
Yes.
In your world.
And I also have a dog, so I'm a dog person as well. Yes.
Oh, you do?
She's sleeping next to me. Yes. She's sleeping next to me. She's a yellow dog. Very cute. So anyway, let's see. Another one of you and Morrigan. Yeah. Here we go. Here's one of you and Morrigan.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I like it.
Yes, a nice intimate moment. Oh wait, looks like maybe some of it got cut off. Hold on, let me just change it and scroll it down for you a little bit. Okay, there we go.
All right, so. Oh, nice. Lovely. Thank you for that.
So I have to tell you that particular idea was actually Ruli's. I just took her absolutely hilarious inspiration and drew this great portrait. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter what height you are as long as you love each other. But it was a little funny to us.
Thank you.
Okay, then I have one more. I think the last one here is one I've actually taken a little time to create, and it's supposed to represent you kind of after all this is done. If everything works out how we hoped, and you're able to defeat the blight, and you're on the other side of that, I kind of wanted to create a portrait of you just like in your happy self. You, as you might be if you were happy, had the life you were hoping to have with Morgan, and, as a hero status. I mean, I just wanted to create something like uplifting and powerful of you. So, all right. So here's that picture.
Oh, apparently I will give up going to the barber.
Yes, I figured maybe you wouldn't have that much access to a barber if you're with Morgan. So, never know.
I don't ever see myself asking her to cut my hair, so I guess that's probably accurate.
And yeah, I did grant you a facial scar there because I figure, you've had some pretty hard blows lately. So
I was about to say, how many drinks have I?
You never know, but obviously it didn't spoil at all your devilishly handsome good looks. So I think if that's all you come out with, you're still doing okay, Dirk.
Right, you're not going to scroll down and show me missing a few limbs or something, are you?
No, let's hope there's no results, anything drastic as that for sure.
What? That is very good. Well
done. Thank you.
Well done, Artzy.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Yeah, thanks for being willing to sit down with me here, and hopefully others will enjoy your answers as much as I am enjoying them. And yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. So, there's no chance of a song at all.
Probably not.
Just
But
asking.
I'm not saying never.
Okay.
But just I'm a much better portrait drawer than I am a songwriter. So I might just stick to portraits.
Well, could you do one?
Just Morgan?
Morgan.
I might be able to make that happen. We'll see. Well, maybe down the road I'll pop something up for you. Something you can keep in your pocket.
Right. Perfect. I would love that.
All right, Dirk. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, well, best of luck on your quest to defeat the Blight, and I'll be in and out as you're going around with Ruli trying to defeat everything, and hopefully we'll be able to get you through it all in one piece.
Well, thank you. Well, yes, thank you.
Bye, Dirk.